Saturday mornings of the 1970s were ruled by two things: the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour and the Super Friends. Nothing said cereal, PJs, and a sprawl on the living room floor like those shows. Super Friends went through several iterations, all equally fun and nonsensical, never afraid to draw the greatest superheroes of all time from
in this great hall of justice
to battle dragons, vampires, robot cowboys, and oh yeah, a great collection of DC Rogues Gallery villains. Let's put this into perspective. I was too young to buy comics at the time, or at least my parents thought I was, so cartoons were my only lens into a vivid imaginative world that had been thriving since 1938. I had no idea that, in the print comics, social malaise was seeping into even the most lighthearted characters. Green Lantern and Green Arrow took a 2-year road trip into the underbelly of America's toughest social issues, which climaxed with an environmentalist crucifying himself in front of their eyes just to make a point. The X-Men, who had preached against discrimination for years, would roar back into advocacy via Chris Claremont in 1975. Spider-Man accidentally snapped his girlfriend's neck, ending, according to many, the lighthearted Silver Age of comics, and the Justice League was joined by cutting-edge adolescent backup in the form of Marvin, Wendy, and Wonder Dog. Sorry, let me try that again.
those three junior super friends, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Yeah, that was perfection. These junior super friends looked like they'd wandered off the set of Scooby-Doo. With Batman and Robin actually showing up on Scooby-Doo, maybe they had neighboring sound stages. To make these audience surrogates more exciting, that trio soon got the boot in the favor of these sexier, incompetent, shape-shifting twins, Zan and Jaina.
With their space monkey, Bleak.
Mostly the Wonder Twins got left behind to monitor the trouble alert, and then they ran off to save the Super Friends, but inevitably got captured themselves. Eventually they'd be rescued, and they would close off the show with a hilarious gag.
Okay, kid, draw!
Speaking of gag...
Oh, all right. Shape of ice cubes.
A part of me insists on artistic excellence. That part will say that there's only been one truly great rendition of the Justice League on the big or little screen, and it's the early 2000s show on Cartoon Network. Not only was it well written, designed, and directed, but the showrunners picked the best imaginable lineup for the League. The big three, plus awesome characters like John Jones, Green Lantern John Stewart, the slightly shady Shira Toll, and Wally West for comic relief. Notice that they bypassed the original characters Hawkgirl Shiera Sanders Hall, Green Lantern Hal Jordan, and Flash Barry Allen in favor of their second and more interesting incarnations. In the 70s, the general public, and certainly Hanna-Barbera, did not consider comic books art, and certainly had none of the reverence that, for example, threw the Justice Society into a Shazam ripoff recently. A distinctly ungrim aesthetic made sense for the Saturday morning show, and television codes at the time certainly would not have allowed for the more adult fare of the print comics. Every kid already knew Superman and Batman thanks to their TV shows and syndication, and the lucky ones thanks to the old Fleischer cartoons. Wonder Woman would soon teach a generation of boys how to both respect women while not blinking for a solid 60 minutes. We had other options from Marvel, most notably Spider-Man in cartoons and live action, and the launch in 1977 of Lou Ferrigno's The Incredible Hulk. Some weak attempts had been made in the 60s on the Avengers, who are now box office gold. Basically, though, these were animated frames from the comics, but they had the greatest theme songs ever.
Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with a heart of steel.
As Iron Man, all jets ablaze, he's fight and fight with repulsor rays. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Compared to all this stuff, the Super Friends were sophisticated. The Hanna-Barbera show went through several iterations, lineups changed, different experiments were tried, updated teenage audience surrogates, new villain teams, and various clumsy attempts at inclusion. Ethnically diverse stereotypes such as Samurai, El Dorado,
Not so fast, hombre.
and eventually Cyborg, Apache Chief, yeah, that was his actual name, and Black Vulcan, because, he's black. Definitely odd since Black Lightning, a nearly identical character, already existed, but his creator, Tony Isabella, was feuding with DC at the time, so they basically just ripped him off by making up an identical character. Isabella was so annoyed that he later wrote a comic in which the Justice League faces off with the evil villain, Barbara Hanna. The Challenge of the Super Friends brought us the awesome Legion of Doom as its rogues gallery. Lex Luthor, the Riddler, Giganta, Scarecrow, Cheetah, Toymaker, Sinestro, Black Manta, also black, Brainiac,
Look, I just want some pants.
a decent pair of pants.
And Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy want pants too. He needs
Their dastardly plots rarely ever made any sense. In an early episode, they decided to turn the entire world's population into clones of Cheetah and Bizarro while using a dream manipulator to make the Super Friends do bad things and then shooting them off into the sun in a jail cell. I mean, the solutions to these problems were just as arbitrary as the schemes themselves.
So bad you're stupid.
And the animation has some real classic mistakes, like a Green Lantern with 3 arms, which is not to say that the Super Friends is devoid of artistic integrity. A lot of the character designs by Alex Toth rank up there with other classic Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoons. This show would do anything it felt like. The Super Friends could go up against a space Sinbad, Greek gods, fairy tale villains, you name it. At one point, Aquaman turned into a giant prehistoric shark, and the Super Friends had to shrink down Fantastic Voyage style to navigate his innards. But that's not even the craziest thing they pulled on this show. Unavailable on the DVD box sets, but findable online, is The Lord of Middle-earth, where the Super Friends navigate a subterranean fantasy world on the back of giant snails, looking to destroy an all-powerful magic ring. For much of my life, I felt like I dreamt up this weird piece of plagiarism, but it is out there. In the comics, malaise continued to intensify, though it didn't invade every corner. By the mid-'80s, Spider-Man had his black suit, Superman was killed, and Batman returned as a grizzled, depressed old man. America was reeling from dissension and a lack of faith in traditional power structures, maybe not equaled until, now. This hit the big screen with Burton's Batman and various gritty superhero films since. But back in the 70s, Superman, arguably the first great superhero film, and the last for almost 10 years, raised that shiny beacon of hope. Kids were not coming to Green Lantern to learn about drug addiction. They wanted wild fantasies that they could have come up with themselves, where anything goes. So maybe, just maybe, the Super Friends were the heroes they deserved, but not the ones America needed right then.